All right, I'm George Willett, and this is Heather Gibbs, my mentor. We're going over my first lesson over math.
Okay, so this was a very interesting lesson. I really enjoyed watching this lesson. For the instructional implementation, you did a group jam. Was this your first time doing a group jam with this group?
Yes, I actually, right now I'm teaching art instead of math. I did 2 years teaching on ALP for math, for SPED. So I've kind of went back and forth, but for the past, this is my second year back in the art classroom. And so I have not used IXL and this is my second year to not use IXL. So I had to go back and kind of refresh. And this is also my first time using that jam, which I really like. Because it gives feedback on what they actually got right and wrong, so you could get a grade from that if you needed to.
I really like that too. I didn't realize, and I don't think you did either, that it kept going and going and going until you actually stopped it.
Yeah,
so
I didn't know that it would just keep asking questions. I thought from all my other experiences with all those, there was like an end point. So
right.
The students finally told me that there wasn't, this thing's gonna just keep going.
Okay, for the higher learning skills, I really like the group jam because it asked higher level questions.
Yeah, you can adjust it. You can either go lower or higher.
And I think that works well with your gen ed students and also your students with exceptionalities.
Yeah, I liked it because we kept going until everybody got the answers right, so I knew everybody knew the information, at least what we were going over.
And I think you gave them adequate amount of time to answer each question, so they didn't feel rushed either.
Right. Okay.
I felt that all the students were actively engaged when you were doing the IXL together. And then during the gallery walk, I haven't seen that done before in a classroom. So I found that interesting. The students seemed to move around and go to each station. Yeah,
their regular teacher does that with them quite a bit, so they're kind of used to it. They were more used to it than I was, but that was a help for me because but yeah, they do seem more engaged and focused on what they're doing, you know.
And there was very little side conversations going on.
Right.
I thought that the students were on task. And you gave positive feedback to all the groups that were participating in their activities. I didn't see any major behavior issues in class. All the students seemed to be on task. There were some interruptions at the beginning of the lesson, but that seems to happen a lot. So the students were adjusted. I mean,
right. The only thing was the one boy student pulled his book out and started reading, and I had to kind of talk with him about that. But.
Yeah. So I thought it went very well. They weren't distracted by things that were going on. As far as student engagement, like I said, all the students were actively engaged throughout the lesson. They were able to answer your questions when you asked them. I noticed when you went to the different areas, if the students were struggling a little bit, you didn't immediately give them an answer. You kind of questioned them and led them to find the answer themselves. The communication between you and the students was very professional, and you expressed it in a manner that all the students could understand. As far as your assessment, the exit ticket went right along with the lesson. That was information that the students should be able to answer on their own, and if they had trouble, you would be able to go back and reteach or help them with the ones they missed.
Right, and I guess we actually said this is beginning geometry, so it was a point, line, ray, and general geometry terms.
Right. And as far as support, I think you offered adequate support for all the students, and even the students that were helping other students in their partnership, they were offering adequate support as well. So I felt that the lesson went very well. The students were engaged, and they really received the information very well.
And I'm not new to most of those students. Most of those students I did have in the math class a couple of years ago, so they were kind of familiar with how I am. So okay. I think that helped me out.
So if you were to teach this same lesson again, what is something that you would do different?
I would probably, for me, I do like to be more in control. I mean, it probably seemed like I was really in control, but at least in the first few minutes of it, I would like, for me personally, if we were doing angles, then I would like tell them an angle, and they would have to draw that angle with protractors and on like whiteboards and show me the answer, because they all got it done. just as practice, like, I like
Mhm.
fast-paced practice like that.
Yes, I think that's a very good idea. Okay, so that was the end of the first lesson.
All right.